Henry Stickmin completing the mission is the latest and final game in the long-running, renowned Henry Stickmin series. It was released in mid-2020 to widespread acclaim, and it's the biggest game the series has ever seen, with tons of novel features and tons of new content, making it the perfect grand finale of the series. And today, I'm going to review it. First, I'll show you the basics of the game, tell you everything you need to know. Then, I'll rate the gameplay experience, and for the final episode of the GameSide series, I'll see how this game stacks up with the GameTally. First, a little overview. Completing the mission was developed by grassroots game developer Innersloth, famous for its role in the massively popular Among Us game. It is the sixth and final game in the Henry Stickmin series, and the project broke ground on January 4, 2017 to succeed its predecessor, Fleeing the Complex. The game was completed on June 30th, 2020, and was finally released to the general public on August 7th, 2020. The game was an instant success, taking the internet by storm and racking up millions of sales in its first month. Considering that completing the mission is the grand finale of the renowned Henry Stickmin series, it should make sense that it should also be the best, too. And it is, with 17 endings compared to the previous game's 5, over 160 different fails compared to 60, and 27 achievements compared to 15. It also incorporates tons of new features, such as a gameplay map that allows you to jump to any scene you wish, instead of constantly pressing the step back button like in previous games, and a countdown timeline, which shows you how much time you have left to make a decision in time-intensive scenes. But one of the game's most important features are its bios. The game features many different characters throughout the game, and you can click on them to review their bio. But what most people don't know is that if you click on every single bio in the collection, it unlocks a secret ending, revealing the origin of the game. Unlike the previous games in this series, which were free, the grand finale of this series must be bought for $15 as part of the Henry Stickmin collection, which includes remastered versions of the previous games, along with completing the mission. This update introduces all the features previously mentioned into all the previous games, along with providing revisions to the animations and updating and patching various kinks in the games. The main character of the series is unsurprisingly given its name, Henry Stickmin. But unlike normal games, in completing the mission, you are the one who gets to choose who your player is. Basically, at the start of the game, you are given a menu where you choose two ranks from the previous games, which determines who your character is, whether a criminal or a vigilante, and who he is affiliated with, whether the Top Hat clan or the government. The ending you choose in turn dictates your gameplay experience, as whichever combination you choose will send you down a different path in the game. One of the most unique features of the Henry Stickmin series as a whole, and most particularly completing the mission, is its gameplay, which is a lot more, say, restrictive than most other games. So you know how in other games you use buttons to freely move your character around? Well, this game is different, taking on more of a pick-your-story vibe. The basic gist of this is this: at the beginning and throughout the game, you're given various choices, such as run or grappling hook, from a menu that influences the storyline, and in turn, your gameplay. If you select the right choice, the story progresses along its path, or occasionally you're taking down a new path in the game. But, if you choose the wrong option, the storyline ends in a spectacular fashion, accompanied by a witty caption and the mission failed screen, and you are prompted to try again. In between these choices, a movie-like animation based on which choice you make will play, advancing the storyline. Depending on which endings you choose at the start and which choices you make throughout the game, you will be assigned a rank at the end of your path, such as leader of a Top Hat clan or a government-supported bounty hunter. So, that's the comprehensive overview of completing the mission. It is one of the hottest and most important games of this year, and for good reason, as it encompasses tons of new features, loads of content, and many whimsical Easter eggs that make this one of the best games to play. And a flat, onto the GameTally. First up is the gameplay segment. Starting at the first category, content, completing the mission has tons of gameplay, easily earning it a 5 out of 5. For the next category, quality, this game works pretty well except for a few minor inconsistencies, giving it a 4 out of 5. Third, with features, completing the mission does good but isn't as customizable as other games, so it gets a 3 out of 5. Fourth, with design, this game is quite intuitive but could look a bit more professional, giving it a 4 out of 5. Finally, with action, this game does pretty well except for a few dead spots, giving it a 4 out of 5. Now for the community segment. Starting with the first category, fairness, completing the mission does well except for its infamous bait and switches, earning it a 4 out of 5. Next up with character, completing the mission really shines in this area, with its gloriously quirky gameplay and loads of Easter eggs and comedy within, easily giving it a 5 out of 5. It also does well in satisfaction, giving it a 5 out of 5. Fourth, with audience, completing the mission is rated 10+, giving it a 4 out of 5. Finally, with value, this game has loads of content, so it should get a 5. But the $15 you must fork up compared to the previous heavy segment games, which are free, may seem a little steep, so it gets a 4 out of 5. Add it all up, and completing the mission's total game tally is 42 out of 50. Here's how it compares against other games I've scored on the GameTally spreadsheet. It does relatively well, beating out Fortnite and Innosoft's own Among Us, but losing to bigger games like CtM and Forza Horizon 4. Overall, it's easy to see why completing the mission is the best Henry Stickmin game yet.